One thing that was interesting is I mentioned Q earlier, and it's been quiet for a while. Maybe that's because that team was abroad, who knows? Maybe it's all BS. But one thing it did mention yesterday is they've now confirmed what we put out on this show, must have been there a month ago now, about the missile that was fired at Air Force One on Trump. Whoever Q it may be is rightly asking, where is the media on this? Well, one of the biggest stories, news stories anyway, ever, and yet the media is saying absolutely nothing. Whether people had any doubts about the portal people reading out controlled news, there it is right there on that story. Someone on American soil out of Washington State fired a missile on the president's plane, and the media don't talk about it. It's unbelievable. And this is why now that 92% of Republicans in a survey and 72% of Americans overall believe that the traditional major news sources report news they know to be fake, false, or purposely wrong. 72% of Americans in a survey and 92% of Republicans. There's a fair portion of Democrats in that as well. Now, this to me pleases me no end, and that's another avenue that's being eroded away by the day. It's a slow death of the lying factory of what the news is. Now, to me, once I'd done sufficient research and overviewed it in the early 2000s, I saw two major problems. The military and subsequent info and intel has backed that up exponentially since, and the media, which I call the portal people, because they deliver news from their world. It's not news in our world. Their world is like a separate world overlay onto our world, which supports the piece I did back in 2016 about that we are living in two separate worlds at the same time. I think more people are seeing that now. This was part of the top orders plans for around 2020 for a permanent overlay, and it would have been a Nazi world. Now, for those of you who have followed Fringe, you will have seen the plans that were put in that series, but rest assured that's failed also. Now, there's a lot of people have been asking whether they feel they're feeling that they need to do more, and I thought I'd cover this a bit. That's a good sign in a way, but you shouldn't let it get to you. Everyone has their path to contribute. People are contributing in more ways than you realise. Like I've said many times, this is more to do with an inner war rather than the external war. The external war is the economy, is the government and all that. The internal war is the real one we have to win. And that's all about all of us. And every time one person turns their light on that was once dark, either dark by being poor behaviour or in the dark because they've been asleep for the whole life, again, is an erosion of their system. And this is now happening on every single level. It's an increasing pace of erosion on every level. If people feel they need to do more, the best thing you can do is learn more about yourself. Deal with your shadow sides, do your inner work, do your meditation, do your grounding, centering and shielding. They're all very important things that most people think are not that important. One day you'll all realise the total importance of that. It's far more important than you realise, because that is clearing the negative frequencies out of all of you and learning to be personally responsible and learning to trust yourself again. Most people don't trust themselves. That's why they put up masks of illusion. Another thing I mentioned a couple of years ago. We're all seeing those masks in people fall now at a rapid pace. People are revealing their true selves. And sadly, there's not enough really nice people. So if there's aspects of yourselves that you don't think is going to be nice, look nice to other people, that's up to you to fix it. Because eventually that mask will peel off altogether and the raw version of you will be there for all to see. You've got self-importance rather than doing something important, wanting to be important. They'll all get exposed now because now we're in that time. But what I am also pleased is the amount of an increase in people wanting to be creative. A whole range of different things, suddenly deciding they want to be creative again. Build, make this, draw that, paint this, paint that. That's the creator in you, all of you. And it's you breaking out of the box of the old self, but wanting everyone else to do things for you. If we all work together, we don't need government. We never did. But if we keep giving our power away and denying our own abilities and being creative, then that's what you end up with. And it hasn't served us too well. I'm also pleased to see that future and free thinking is also rising. Again, that's people using their brains for better purposes. More and more are reporting family and friends are now being more responsive to some of the items that they may speak to them about. Again, it's a steady progress on another level, and that's the common theme that's going on now. But never feel bad that, where you can't do certain things. Each has a role to play. Often people, I would suggest, are in the roles they're supposed to be. Some may be deemed as appearing more important, but everyone has the same importance.